Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's me, Chris Brogan. This is not the Backpack Show. This is Scratchpad, made by the guy who makes the Backpack Show. So I thought I'd start this up by that to let you know what show you're on. Welcome to Scratchpad. I wanted to put together a quick video to help people think about how to be a better guest on live video. What are some of the tech things you need to know? What are some of the communications things to know? What are some of the ways that you can help people out? So welcome to the first episode of Scratchpad. Being a guest on other people's shows is maybe the first easy best step on figuring out how to do other things with this medium. Having the opportunity to build a show for other people, you can do some really cool things. So for instance, someone might come along, someone might say, hey, can you come on and talk to me about this because your business is important and it does what my business does and all that. I want to show you kind of how to walk your way through that. So, hey, John, hey, Chloe, good to see you. So this idea of Scratchpad, by the way, is just that this is where we can work on some things together. And I had some ideas on how to be a guest, and they're all things that some of them are going to cost some money. Some of them are things you could do pretty easy right away. Let me start first. The secret to good video is great audio. The reason I have this mic here, this is a blue Yeti Nano microphone. The reason I have this on this boom and all that isn't so I can look pro. It's so I can be heard. Now that mic costs just under $200 US, which could be a lot. And so David Lawrence, who's a voiceover actor, he recommended this mic by Audio Technica. It's a shotgun mic by nature, and it's got a little pop filtery thing. You can go to cbrogan.me/shotgun, and you can get this for like $50 something as opposed to the $200 for the Yeti Nano. Now, if you like that mic right here, the Yeti Nano, cbrogan.me/Yeti Nano. But this can be the same sort of thing. So for $55, you get this. And so all I would have to do is, affix it here. And then, of course, I have to move my stand back a little because it's a different size mic. But audio is the key to good video. Now, you can also, I can show you how to cheat this out for even cheaper than that. Buy a set of gaming headphones. These, I think, are for a PlayStation, although I use them on an Xbox. Buy a gaming headphones, and you can use these to make better audio. Now, of course, you have the second side note of it looks like you're trying to fly an airplane or something like that. But you do get the opportunity to have really good quality, crisp audio, and also you can hear everything very well. Now, again, I'm saying this to be a guest. You can use any of these things for a host, obviously, but when you come on someone's show and all you've got is your laptop or all you've got is your phone, if you've got your phone, buy a tripod stand so that you don't have to hold the phone. You think you're doing a good job, but you're not. You're doing shaky cam. You're doing wiggly stuff. If you're going to be on a phone, do tripod. If you're going to be on a laptop, though, get a mic. These mics are all USB style mics, meaning they plug into most typical computers that have a USB port. All of them have usually some form of something else they need to get them plugged in. But that's one recommendation. The other recommendation is not wireless and definitely not Bluetooth. Buy very inexpensive wired earbuds. Now, listen, if you can't do this and you've got to do big old over-the-ear things, that's fine. But stick this thing in your ear, and it makes it so much better. So this one's black. I bought black on purpose because if we have white, then you can see everything. But for $6, this is in my ear. You can barely see the wire there, and I have good quality hearing, so I can connect up and hear things very well. So Debit asked the question, can I repeat the mic options again? Yes. So you can get a shotgun microphone. This is about $50 or so. It's Audio Technica brand. Go to cbrogan.me/shotgun to check it out a little more. cbrogan.me/shotgun. This one here is my blue Yeti Nano. What's nice about the Nano is it's a little smaller. It's a little more compact. You can see some of the other blue mics they have. Blue Spark, I think, is one. Blue Snowflake is one. These are so good. Jane asked the question, what do the headphones do? One of the recommendations I had is I said you can use a gaming microphone headset so that for $40 you're in, but you need earphones so you can hear your guests. So you want those so that your microphone is not feeding in the speaker output of the computer that you're talking on. So you're going to want to have some kind of an earphone so that people can see what's going on. So audio is the first step of being a good guest. Audio. is the first step of being a good guest. Cameras help. This camera here is a Logitech C922. And I think, just again, cbrogan.me/camera. cbrogan.me/Logitech. Nope. C922. Nope. I don't know. cbrogan.me/something, but basically it's a Logitech. Bcaster mics are a good value. That's good to know. Bill. Hi, Bill, by the way. Good to see you, buddy. And Bill knows because Bill's been doing film and incredible stuff for a very, very long time. So audio is the first step. Second step is video, right? So I said a good camera. I'm using a Logitech C922. Some people put like full-fledged DSLRs up in like a Canon or something like that. You can totally do that, but I'm finding that webcam quality is good. Your only problem right now with a webcam is they're just not as available as they used to be. But again, if you're going to be a guest and being available and all that sort of a thing, you're going to want to do something like this. Now, Bill says, and I'm going to second the motion on this. Bill says, I've had really trouble with guests using their earbuds with integrated microphones. Now, for me, with Bluetooth, 100% of the time, people who stick Bluetooth mics on my show always wreck it. It's always bad. Something always goes wrong, or the batteries die midway through, even if they tell me it's 100% charged. So again, what I recommended for earbuds are just any old, $6 pair of just stick them in your earbuds without a microphone attached to them. C920 is fine. That's, mine's the C922. It's in the same family, any of the C900s, let's say. And maybe there's even a newer one that we don't know about, but that's what I do. Now, so that's we did mics, we did headphones, and we did cameras. And then for lighting, there's a few ways to go. And so I have what I have, but then I would also maybe make a recommendation for something that I don't have, but I would buy differently these days, just for sort of simplicity. If you go to cbrogan.me/lights, you would see an example of what I have going on my background right now. And I'll show you what that looks like really quick. I think I can share the screen without too much hullabaloo. Oops, I forgot to do it though. Share the screen, share the tab, share this, do that. Boom. There we go. So these are the lights I'm using, which are ePhoto Inc., no name brand, portable lights. And of course, you got to buy the little stand that they sit on and all that sort of a thing. And I have a couple of these. If I had to do it over again, I would probably just buy like a ring light. And ring lights look like this. Sometimes they call them diva lights, and they're getting less and less expensive. You could buy super smallish ones. You just have to make sure you get the right one that kind of matches, where it's going to be in your world and where it hooks up to, but it can be under $100. So those kinds of lights I think are important because what you get out of them is you get the opportunity, those kinds of lights, you get the opportunity to have some light on you. Again, this is as a guest. If you're going to set up a set and do your own stuff, I mean, there may or may not be some different configurations, but I want you to have something where, you're going to look really good as a guest. Heidi has a ring light, by the way. That's cool, Heidi. So we've covered most of the gear. I want to talk to you just a few more things about what else you have to do. One thing is with your camera placement, what we do every single time we do the backpack show is right before. Oh, that's a really good point. John points out, if you wear glasses, that ring light shows up pretty harshly. Now they do make new glasses that have a new treatment that is intensely aware of that sort of a thing, but that's a lot of money. That's like an extra, few $100 in a lens treatment on your glasses, as opposed to trying different lights. So one of the things we do at the backpack show right before our guests go live is we just sort of look everybody over and look at this space between the head. You want your head to be kind of near the top of the set if you're doing a sort of closer set. Now, of course, there's always variations. There's always reasons why not to do something like this. But my angle, what I kind of aim for, is a little bit of clearance on the head, and that's the deal. Bill points out again, and this is really good. You got to understand, Bill Streeter is like a legend when it comes to this sort of stuff. So him being here is like, Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace, while I'm giving a guitar instruction. If you don't have a light set up near a window, don't forget a window is a nice lighting thing as well. Heidi points out you can also see the ring light reflected in the person's eye. By the way, Heidi, I have a friend who's making a business out of ring lights that put really cool shapes in people's eyes. So stay tuned for that. So clearance is important. I think that head clearance, if it's even, because one of the things, Caesar, there's a very funny part of that story. I'll tell you in just 1 second. The head clearance thing matters because if everybody in the shot looks one way and you're like this person, then it sort of looks like you're the person at the kiddie table, right? So you don't want to do that kind of setup. So you're trying to aim to get your heads all kind of the same. Now, we've also had other situations. One of the times we interviewed an adult film star, and she had the angle on her thing where her head was cut off so she could show a little more of her, let's say. You kind of want it like this. That's what we do with head angles. So I've covered hardware, I've covered lights and things like that. Covered a little bit about, some of the simple things like have light. Now I have light coming in from here. One of the things that happens to me is it either washes me all the way out and I have to kind of adjust my brightness, or I have lights right here and here that are kind of filling in a little to make it a little bit more manageable and controllable. So that's that. Let me talk really quick about the concept of how we the other thing to do as a guest. So one of the things that comes about when you're a guest is somebody's going to ask you some questions. Usually there could be an interview kind of a scenario. There could be something where someone's, very interested in hearing what you have to offer or what you sell or what you're doing right now. Even if the person has come with really set questions and all that sort of a thing, it's on you as the guest to start preparing your material such that you can respond succinctly, clearly, simply, and somewhat repeatably, meaning that people will take what you have and run with it. People will understand what you said and walk away with it. Now, there's a term I've used since 2005 for this called give your ideas handles, meaning like a suitcase, right? So if I tell you something and you can run with it, I've just given that idea a handle. Guess what? That thing I just said, give your ideas handles. If you take that off and you're thinking about it later today, that's the example also being the instruction, right? So when people want to know something about you, what we tend to do as guests is we either overshare, we either fill the time as much as we can, or we answer in some kind of really, obtuse, not clear way. So if, for instance, you are a person who sells Buddhism prayer beads, right? So I sell prayer beads, and why do you do this? What's it about Buddhism? So they had me on the show and they're like, Chris, what got you into selling prayer beads? And I, which I don't do, but like, let's pretend. And I would say, well, one of the things I really dig about Buddhism is that you don't really have to change your religion. You could be some other religion. Buddhism is oftentimes just kind of like a set of tools. So I like the fact that you can just breathe in and breathe out. And what the beads do is they give you something to do while you're breathing. So on every out breath, you just push one more bead. So one more bead, one more bead, one more bead. And there's 108. So you can basically, it's like it's having a timer built in where you've got control of the timer. So that's me explaining the idea in a way that you get all the information. I don't and ah. I don't talk about the history of Buddhism. I go straight for one concept and I explain it simply enough that you can take it and do something with it. Again, giving your ideas handles, which, by the way, thank you, John. Thank you, Michael. What happens a lot of times when you're giving your answer is you ramble, you say a lot, you worry that you're not giving enough of a full picture. People almost never need the full picture. They need enough to get it. They need to understand what you're saying. So, Chris, you said you're starting your diet. Your diet's going to be all cheeseburgers. That's right. Well, tell us a little bit what that's like. Well, you might think that's heaven to eat all cheeseburgers, but there's a lot to it. You've got to understand that your belly is going to feel that for a while. You're going to have a couple of rough trips to the bathroom. But after a while, if you do it just right, you're going to find that you can actually control calories and manage a weight loss, even just eating cheeseburgers. Done, right? Done. And then it gives the interviewer the chance to say, well, how do you actually do that? And you're like, well, you just kind of portion out how much meat you're going to need. You can choose to buy it once or twice in a week. You can make some variations on what kind of burgers you're going to have. You wouldn't want to have the same burger or the same anything all the time, would you? You maybe work out the calories for that, and then you're good to go. You see what I'm saying? You make succinct answers. The way to get better at not saying ums, if you're not saying and kind of adding those air pieces, it's because you've done one of two things. It's because one, you've started practicing what you're going to say so that you know what you're going to say before you say it. And two, you've practiced being a guest. You want to know the magical trick about practicing to be a guest? All you have to do that is answer your own questions on a video. Take even your crappy laptop camera, hit record, and answer questions into it, and then see what it looks like looking back. Carrie, who's my co-host on the Backpack Show and co-producer of the show, she's a showrunner. If you're still talking after 2 minutes, wrap up your answer. Some interviewers don't want to break in, but people will zone out if you keep going. The more you talk, the more people are going to feel like they're going to go look at other tabs and all that sort of a thing. I've kept a very steady amount of people here live right now because my answers are simple. They're succinct. Everything I'm covering has kind of a pace to it, and you know where you're going. So brief, simple, clear answers. And let's go back to that concept of give your ideas handles. The idea is that if it can be repeatable, then you're going to have a slightly better shot. I thought I was going to have to sneeze. That wouldn't be so great on the air. The other thing people are looking for in a guest is listen to my voice. See how the inflection changes. See how there's an up, a down, some variance. That's just practice. That's practice learning how to kind of explain out who you are, get this handled, and practice. The more you can, the more you're going to get a chance to have people hear what you're going for. So Carol says hi. Steve says thank you, because Steve likes watching and being parts of these kinds of shows. And we all know what it's like to have a not so great guest who has great information. One thing to think about if you're planning to be the guest on some other people's shows, here's really important thing to think about. What are people most going to want from you? If you've been asked to be a guest somewhere on a show, an interview, even a job interview, people are going to need what you know. So think about that ahead of time. What are they going to need to know to set it up? Well, one thing Kate says is they're going to need real simple, clear answers. I love that profile pic, by the way. Jack points out that I did sneezius interruptus, pleasure denied. Yeah, that's probably a whole kink somewhere. So we'll have to find a guest for that someday. The other thing they're going to want is they're going to want to know that they like you or not. Likability comes into being part of an interview guest thing. And even if you have a very introverted personality, I'm a very introverted person. I feel a lot more comfortable sitting in this chair talking to somebody in a camera than I do if I'm going to be on a stage with thousands. And so I feel like this is my one real opportunity to get people to know and understand and connect with the stuff that I'm talking about and what I have to offer. The whole big idea is that you convey simple, easy communication. You do it in a way where you have nice tone and you're as likable as you can. And then finally, as best as you can, even if you don't have the opportunity or the luxury to have people right here so that you can comment and see what people are saying and things like that on shows like I do on StreamYard, which, by the way, if you ever wanted to make your own show, you could go to cbrogan.me/StreamYard. Even if you can't have that opportunity, then the very last thing you always want to do is make it about the people who show up. I did an interview for a guy yesterday, and he's a publishing guy. He works in publishing for a Christian publishing house. I'm fine. He wanted to talk to me about my book, Trust Agents. I'm very happy to talk about that. But I'm realizing he's a Christian publishing house. He has all different kinds of religious people there. So I canted my answers so that they fit the people that were there in the audience. And so the opportunity I had was to serve his community in that way, that my answers did a lot to reflect who they were. So to me, it's a matter of doing something to really connect, because that connectedness falls right into Fred Faulkner, the fourth point. Hey, Fred, good to see you back, by the way, buddy. Likability and personality. It amazes me how The Rock has transformed his whole persona. Look at his early stuff and then look how he's worked. So Rock was hired to be a heel in the wrestling world. Heel means the bad guy. So Rock was hired to be the bad guy. But on the day that they decided that maybe he should switch sides and be the face, which means the good guy, then Rock, changed, and it's obviously made a big difference in his career. He's the highest paid guy in showbiz. He's doing the most movies a year in showbiz. I mean, we have to have maximum Rock at some point, but we just haven't really managed it. So that's the deal. Chaz points out, canted your answers. What a good one. Thank you so much. And Kate says, serve others community. Absolutely. If Caesar is still here, Caesar Romero, by the way, named after the Joker. The answer to the Triple H question from earlier, am I a Triple H fan? I mean, sure, I like him. He's good. Paul Levesque's a good businessman. But this is because my co-host on the Backpack Show, Carrie O'Shea Gorgon, says that Triple H is one of her pretend boyfriends. And so she got a signed autographed photo of Triple H, but there was a secret. I also got a signed autographed photo of Triple H. So I opened mine on the air during the Backpack Show just to make Carrie laugh out loud on the show. Now I'm not going to be able to get Triple H back into position here. Oh, I've ruined everything. My set, it's broken. If you are going to be in a situation where you get to be a guest a lot, that brings me to my last point. So I'm doing a different look because I'm doing this show. This is called Scratch Pad for you who showed up late. Scratch Pad isn't the backpack show. It's different, right? When you look at the backpack show, this is my background. My background is something for you to look at. Now, this serves a function in my house because people were sending me toys and I didn't know where to put them. And my kids would occasionally get a toy and they would never play with it after the first day they owned it. And so I started becoming the repository of all strange, small action figure-y types of things. That's why it's there. So that's the look and feel of the backpack show, is something like this. This is the look and feel of Scratch Pad by just turning my camera a bit. And it's not fancy. And there will be a nice screen here at some point. This Mac is super duper old. I'm thinking of throwing Linux on it. And there's a big opportunity to make different backgrounds that'll be live and visible and blah, blah, blah. You know, it doesn't take a lot to make a set. These are bookshelves. You can put stuff on a bookshelf. You can put different things on a bookshelf for different shows. It's super, super important. That's the deal. So Heidi says, and we're going to get out of here after this. Heidi says, my favorite interview you did was the one with John Hayden just before he passed. Here, move the camera back. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see that. Thank you. Yes. Talking to John Hayden, that was amazing. And he was super sweet and super fun and ridiculously funny. But one of the things that was just repeatedly funny before that interview, Heidi, was John kept being like, well, do you think you could come to my house? I'm like, yeah, I think I could come to your house, John. I'm not going to make you drive all the way up to the other half of the state for me. And his brother James was there to help. And it was just an incredible opportunity. But thank you for that. That was a really good opportunity. Carrie says that I love looking at Triple H while we're doing the backpack show. Michael says Triple H has transitioned amazingly well from a performer to a business owner, and he's also done a good job transitioning from a heel to a host. Absolutely. And these are different ways and effects of kind of running the show. And that's why I want to talk about what Rick says here. Even if you're having a bad day, remember, if the camera's on, you've got to let that day go for the whole time that you're on. And that's huge. That's a true thing. And by the way, so my mood, I deal with clinical depression. So some days I come to this show when I'm doing the backpack show and I'm not on. I'm not, feeling it. So I do my damnedest to smile and dance, because that's what you got to do. I almost always want to tell people this as a guest as well. And so I said I had a last one, but this is the last one. You have to amp up who you are a little bit. You got to put on a little bit. You know how like they say that cameras put on 10 pounds of weight? I'm like 100 pounds lighter than this. You just can't tell because this camera's fat. Your camera takes away like 10% of your energy level. Your camera makes you look less happy and less vibrant than you need to be. You've got to pump it back up. You've got to put that Mr. Rogers face into action or something like that. So that's important. So listen, I covered the things I wanted to cover. I want to get you out of here. So thank you so much for coming to Scratch Pad. Thanks for paying attention to me. And hopefully this is helpful for you as a guest.